Okay, let's add the next tab to our stat tools. Here I am in GitHub with my new repository, and I have 4 tabs in already. We're going to add the 5th tab in. Let's go back and I will open up the code space. And I will pull in the 5th tab. Guess I can close some of these. Close, 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 close. Keep those 2 open because we edit them from time to time. So I'm going to pull in the next tab. This is the t distribution, and let's add that into the main app. So let's add in the 5th tab, student t, and add in the link. Student t distribution. Okay, that ought to do it. Let's start up the web version of this. Streamlit run app.py. So I've added in this 5th tab. Let's take a look at it. We got a left t-score and a right t-score. I can shade the left, the center, or the right. Degrees of freedom is new for a t distribution because it's based off of sample size. And degrees of freedom is 1 less than the sample size. So degrees of freedom 2 would be sample size 3. And then the total probability of the shaded region is this here. So I can change numbers. So it switches that out. This dotted line is where the normal distribution would be. T distribution is a little shorter and a little wider than a normal distribution. We can do t-scores to get probability, and we can also take probability to get a t-score. And I can shade the left 40% in the left tail, 40% in the center, 40% in the right, degrees of freedom. So that's everything having to do with the t distribution. Let's take a look at what's happening in the code. So we go to student t. We import all of our regular applications, libraries, starting with a title, student t probability. That's up here at the top. Then in the sidebar, the t settings and the 2 options of t to probability and probability to t. That's this. If it's t to probability, I'm going to break it into 3 columns. The left t-score, the center section talks about if I want to shade the left, the center, or the right. And then I have a right t-score. And down at the bottom, broken up into two columns, 1 and a 3, a 1 size and a 3 size. The 1 has the degrees of freedom in it, and it also has the total probability value. The graph goes from t-scores from a -5 to a +5 because it's a little bit wider than a normal curve. So instead of -4 to 4, we're going -5 to 5. You have your normal curve, that's that dotted line, and then you have your t-curve, which is based off the degrees of freedom. And then put that in a database, and then create a Plotly Express line for the normal distribution. Make it dashed, and then add a trace for the t-distribution, and then depending on what is checked, that will create that shaded region underneath. And then plot it. And then in the other tab, probability to t, 3 columns, you have your probability amount, and then where you're going to shade, left, center, or right, degrees of freedom, create your database -5 to 5 with a normal and a t distribution on it. And then if it's left, what does that look like? If it's center, and if it's right, then add that trace for the t distribution, and then plot it. And then let's see, and then give that the score, the t-score that corresponds to that probability that you have set up. And that is the end of student t-distribution.